Do you know the best way to slice a cabbage? The secret is to cut along its fibrous texture, into even 0.88mm threads. This is the only method to perfectly seal in its sweetness and flavor. But for a master chef like Komatsu, this is just a piece of cake. And so, Komatsu challenged the acting master of the Shakin Temple. The moment Komatsu picked up his knife, his mind had already plotted the path for every single cut. The match begins. At a shocking speed of 30 cuts per second, Komatsu frantically shreds the vegetable. The shredded cabbage piled up like a mountain. His movements were so fast, it was imperceptible to the naked eye. However, his opponent finished the entire task in less than 10 seconds. Komatsu was completely stunned. The acting master pointed out that while Komatsu's technique was fast, it was filled with unnecessary movements. Once he masters food honor, his speed will far exceed what it is now. And with that, Komatsu lost the match. According to the competition's rules, both Komatsu and Toriko would get no dinner that night. But for Toriko, missing a single meal is a life or death matter. He tearfully pleaded with the acting master for just a bit of food. The master was quite generous, handing Toriko a pair of 5-meter-long chopsticks. Toriko tried for what felt like an eternity, but couldn't pick up a single bean. In the end, the two could only go to sleep hungry. Before sunrise, they were taken to their pre-meal training. If they could clear their minds and keep the mysterious grass torch burning for 3 minutes, they would be allowed to eat breakfast. However, Toriko's mind was filled with too many distractions. Not only did he extinguish his own torch, he caused Komatsu's to go out as well. A task that should have taken 3 minutes ended up taking them 3 whole hours. Finally, it was breakfast time. The acting master pointed to a rice jar, telling them to help themselves. This rice was a special egg rice, and the shell of each grain was incredibly delicate. If even one were to crack, it would trigger a chain reaction, shattering all the others. However, just as Toriko was about to put the rice in his mouth, his hand slipped. At this point, Komatsu and Toriko hadn't eaten for 2 full days and nights. The acting master gave them 2 magical seeds. These were the seeds of a rose ham. He explained that if they watered them with a heart full of gratitude, a ham flower would bloom. But Komatsu and Toriko's gratitude was clearly not sincere enough. After waiting for 2 days and 2 nights, the seed finally sprouted. Just then, the acting master reappeared and threatened in a grim tone. If they didn't make it grow longer, they would never eat again. The two immediately sat down and began watering and praying with even more devotion. Finally, at high noon, the ham flower bloomed magnificently. As the two were celebrating, a sandwich monarch butterfly fluttered by. This type of butterfly feeds on ham flowers. Before Toriko could even get a taste, the butterfly had already eaten a petal. To make matters worse, it called over 2 of its companions. Toriko was completely enraged. With all his strength, he swung his hand in a knife chop toward the butterfly. What happened next was beyond anyone's imagination. His full power strike actually sliced a 100-story pagoda clean in half. This man pulls off his earring and drips the liquid inside onto a vine. Instantly, the vine loses all its moisture, shriveling up and drying out. He then slings the withered vine over his shoulder, preparing to squeeze out the world's very last drop of century soup. As he pulls on the vine with all his might, the ancient ice that had been dormant for millennia begins to condense. The gourmet showcase shatters completely, and a 5-colored aurora shoots toward the sky. This signals the final guest of the gourmet showcase. Who will be the chosen one? Everyone holds their breath, their eyes all fixed on that precious single drop. In the end, it was Komatsu who was chosen. However, before Komatsu could even celebrate, the gourmet cells within Toriko and Match suddenly went berserk, causing them to lose all reason. Fortunately, the reviver Teppei appeared just in time to stop them. Komatsu pleaded with everyone, asking them to entrust the final drop of soup to him. He swore that he would perfectly recreate the true flavor of the century soup. The moment Komatsu made his vow, the drop of century soup began to glow, even more brilliantly. The next second, Komatsu drank it all in one gulp. Its taste was simply beyond words, so delicious it made him lose himself in an instant. Komatsu couldn't wait any longer. He had to replicate this flavor immediately. Back in the kitchen, he gathered all the most exquisite ingredients. Among them, there were even ingredients that willingly came forward, asking to be added to the soup. Komatsu carefully selected them, placing them into the pot one by one. After countless rounds of filtering and purifying, the soup finally became as clear as crystal, reaching the same level as the legendary Chef Acacia. It's worth noting that it took Chef Acacia 30 long years to reach this stage. Komatsu eagerly scooped up a spoonful of the soup and took a taste. It was indeed delicious, but compared to the real century soup, it still seemed to be missing one final, crucial ingredient. What could that final ingredient be? As Komatsu pondered this puzzle, the little penguin quietly snuck into the kitchen. The rich aroma of the soup made the little penguin drool uncontrollably. At that very moment, the 5-colored aurora once again filled the entire room. Komatsu quickly scooped up a spoonful and took a taste. That final, crucial ingredient was actually